The storm pounced without warning. One minute the fishing trawler was scudding along under clear night skies, and the next pummeled by fierce winds and high seas beneath churning black clouds. In the wheelhouse, Captain Yagil Dahan gripped the padded armrests of his skipper's chair. He stared at the panel of instruments, navigation, communications, fish detection, and trawl sensors. While he'd come to check the trawling sensor, it was the weather radar that occupied his attention. The instrument showed no indication of clouds or wind, let alone a storm. Dahan rubbed his bearded chin that showed a disturbing amount of gray. "I'm getting too old for this," he said. Yagil Dahan had inherited the twin trawlers David and Bathsheba from his father when he was 39 years old, and for nearly 3 decades had managed to put food on the table for his wife and son and 2 daughters. But these last 3 years, the family fishing business had struggled to stay afloat. An increasing number of corporations with larger boats and modern equipment were mercilessly cutting into his profits. Then, a month ago, the Department of Fisheries had enacted new conservation fishing bans that would limit the number of months he could work. But the worst blow came last week, when the David's engine gave up the ghost and had to be towed to port. He didn't have the money to repair it and was down to 1 ship. And now he was going to have to replace Bathsheba's weather radar. How was he going to do that and pay the crew? Already he'd lost 4 seasoned crew members to the corporations. "Sorry, Yagil," the departing crew members said, "but the bigger boats are offering more money and benefits, and a man's got to take care of his family, no?" Which left him with what? Zalel, his wife's good-for-nothing younger brother. The man never did an honest day's work in his life and was most recently fired from a government job. A government job! A corpse could hold a government job, but not Zalel. The man couldn't keep his mouth shut. A self-professed expert on everything, all Zalel ever did was stand with his arms folded and tell people how they should do whatever it was they were doing. As a boy, he told women how to cook, mothers how to breastfeed, children how to play, and old men how to die. As an adult, he told his coworkers how to do their jobs, his employers how to run their businesses, his supervisors how to treat their workers, and political leaders how to run the country. It was his advice to a visiting female dignitary on how to get rid of unsightly facial hair that got him fired. "But he's family," Yagil's wife insisted. This was Zalel's first voyage aboard a fishing trawler, and already there were murmurs about throwing him overboard. Crew members were taking bets on how long he'd be in the water before he started telling the fish how they should be swimming. The starboard side of the trawler heaved, and once again Yagil checked the weather radar screens. Clear skies, light wind, calm seas. Yagil cursed. "Papa! Papa, come on deck!" There was an urgency in his son's voice. Shaviv was the same age Yagil was when he took over his family fishing business. Yagil grabbed his tattered captain's hat. Then, spurred by a sense of foreboding intuition, he opened a drawer, retrieved his handgun, and tucked it into his waistband. Emerging on deck, a gust of wind and salty spray knocked him back a step. The trawler's mechanical winch clanked loudly as it pulled the night's catch on board. "Papa, you have to see this!" Shaviv shouted over the wind. He was pointing at the net. There, nestled among the grouper, cod, and yellowmouth barracuda, was something smooth and round, and definitely man-made. The winch ground to a halt. Under normal conditions, the crew would be cutting the bottom of the net and spilling the catch into the hold. To the man, they watched the captain's progress as he made his way along the port side under the eerie glow of ship's lights. "Look, Papa!" Shaviv pointed at the net. "There! There! And there! 3 of them!" The burnt-orange bulge of clay jars, ancient from the look of them, stood out among the restless mass of gray fish scales. "Treasure, Papa!" Shaviv said. Years of life experience, hammered and shaped by disappointment, kept Yagil's emotions in check. Still, he couldn't help but wonder, could it be that his luck was about to change, and that on this God-forsaken night good fortune would favor him?